From the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, a warm welcome to the second of eNCA's pre-election town hall meetings. Senior provincial politicians will be put through their paces. Voters in party colours have arrived and are seated in the large auditorium awaiting their chance to speak directly to those seeking their vote on May 8. KwaZulu-Natal is a crucial election battleground. While the ANC says it's confident about retaining the province, we've seen a resurgence of the eNCA Freedom Party and the near implosion of the National Freedom Party. Adding to the unpredictability is the so-called Zuma factor. So what plans do competing parties have to win the key cross on the ballot paper? Stand by now for eNCA presenter Shahan Ramkisood.
Good evening and welcome to this eNCA special town hall debate. We're live in the Zulu Kingdom. It's our hometown, my hometown, former President Jacob Zuma's hometown, and we know a pioneer of South African music, Babes Wodumo. Let's get started about why we're actually here tonight. KwaZulu-Natal has a history of political violence and political killings. Unfortunately, we're back in the same situation, some would argue. Not, of course, to the levels that we saw in the run-up to democracy, but on a smaller scale. But still, political killings are happening in this province. What we are seeing are members of parties being accused of carrying out those political killings. It begs the question, what would our freedom struggle heroes have to say about what's happening for that hard-won democracy that we have now? Mayors are accused of killing their own members. Are these the kinds of people you want leading your province? A province so rich in African history, a province where King Shaka Zulu so fiercely fought the British to actually make sure that he protected his land and his people. Tonight, we're giving you a chance. It's about you. We're giving you a chance to question these provincial leaders in KwaZulu-Natal. These are the people that you will ultimately vote into power. These are the people who have a responsibility to make sure that they deliver on the services they promise to you. This debate is about you. It's about your concerns, it's about your hopes, and of course, it's about your powerful vote. And that's why we have eNCA reporter Aldrin St-Pierre right there in the middle of the crowd to speak to you throughout the next 2 hours.
Well, Shahan, I can tell you that the mood here is not a mood of a meeting. It is quite electrifying. And saying electrifying, we hope that the lights will remain on, and these are the people who will decide on May the 8th who will be victorious in this province. And just a quick warning to the panelists. Just know that the questions that come from the floor, as we experienced 2 weeks ago and in Mitchell's Plain, is that the questions are tough and they are direct.
Yep, tough and direct. That's the aim of this. And let's remind you that you have the responsibility to ask those tough questions. But please keep it short so that we can give everyone an equal opportunity to have their say and to get their questions across to these leaders. These are the provincial leaders of 4 main political parties in KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, first off, ANC Provincial Chairperson Sihle Zikalala. Up next, of course, is the DA's provincial leader and premier candidate, Zwakele Mwango. Right next to him, bringing color to our panel, is the NFP's provincial secretary, Zandile Myeni. We also have the IFP's provincial secretary general, Velienkosi Hlabisa. And, of course, the EFF's provincial chairperson, Busi Koza. All right, so as we get into this discussion, there are some rules, and the rules are here to protect us all from boredom. We don't want to hear political speeches today. You can save that for the rallies, guys. So we're going to keep it short and tight, and we'll be monitoring you with 2 minutes. That's the clock. It's right here behind me. It's in front of you at the back of the stage. Keep it short. There's no time for political spin. This is your chance to basically convince voters who are not voting for you just yet why they should. We're going to give you 2 minutes each. You will be monitored by this clock. When you hear the ping, please stop. I don't want to interrupt anyone out of respect. Let's start off with ANC Provincial Chairperson Sihle Zikalala. Your 2 minutes starts now.
No, thanks. Greetings to you and to all participants and viewers of the program. We call on all people of South Africa to vote for the ANC. Since 1994, the ANC have provided electricity to millions of people, from 40% up until we are now at 89%. Out of 10 people, 9 have access to drinkable pipe water. In KwaZulu-Natal alone, we've built more than 115,000 houses. In South Africa, we've built more than 4.7 houses. There is a reason to vote for the ANC. We continue to grow the economy of the country. Hence, we have made it clear that in the next 4 years, we will ensure that we attract more than 1.2 trillion investments into South Africa. We continue to support SMMEs and ensure that we support the industrialization. But more than that, as the ANC government, we have ensured access to education, from primary education to tertiary education. As the ANC government, right here in KwaZulu-Natal, we've built what is known as eNCA Chief Albert Luthuli Hospital, which is of a high level. We are now opening the Pilsika Isaka Sembe Hospital in Inanda. There is a reason to vote for the ANC. We've built more schools, even in deep rural areas, and we've tarred more roads. And our people today are traveling in tarred roads, even in rural areas. We continue to ensure that all people of KwaZulu-Natal are treated equally.
Your time is up, sir.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. The DA's provincial leader and premier candidate for KwaZulu-Natal, Zwakele Mwako. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Greetings to you and greetings to viewers at home and the audience here. I think it's important to say we are proud as South Africans because South Africa is a great country with potential, and especially in this province, we have a beautiful province. But on the 8th of May, South Africans will face with a question whether they want to reward the failed government or they want to vote DA for better future. We strongly believe that it is high time where South Africans who are tired of corruption will definitely vote DA, because DA have a plan to take the corruption. The DA has a plan to create jobs. DA has a plan to ensure we have honest and professional police service, and DA has a plan to ensure we speed up delivery of basic services, and only DA have a plan to secure our borders. As we speak today, South Africans have to ask themselves whether they want to keep the lights on or off, because currently the current government is switching lights off with the load shedding. Only DA have a plan to ensure that we produce electricity for all South Africans. And we want to say today, under Ramaphosa, there will be no change. We have seen state capture where Jacob Zuma used Guptas to capture our states. Now Ramaphosa is using Busasa to capture our states. So definitely there will be no change. Only DA will bring about change in our country. Only DA have a plan to ensure that young people who are jobless will find a job one day. Those who are losing hope, we are saying on the 8th of May, you get out and vote DA for better future, because only DA will bring future in this country. No other party. ANC have failed this country, and DA will bring change in our country for future.
All right, 2 minutes exactly. Let's move on to the NFP's Provincial Secretary, Zandile Myeni. Your 2 minutes will start now.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think as we are gathered here where the South African will be getting another chance to say, one, it's either the status quo remains or they change. We are saying the NFP is the only party that can provide the clean governance. The NFP have ruled in Zululand. In Zululand, where we have governed, we have managed to get the clean cabinet. In Zululand, where we were governed, we were also managing to make it sure that people get the service delivery. As we are here, there are a lot of municipalities which are under the administration, which shows that the NFP during their time, they have delivered everything that they're supposed to do. Also, the viewers must also take into consideration that all these parties which are saying that people must vote for them, some of them have been into government for more than 25 years. So it's up to them to change the status quo, vote for NFP. Thank you very much.
All right, that was a minute. Let's move on to the next speaker and panelist, the IFP's Provincial Secretary General, Velian Kosini Tlabisa.
Good evening, everybody. Our message is clear. Trust us to make KwaZulu-Natal work again. The IFP believes that on the 8th of May is the day the people of KwaZulu-Natal should speak loud and clear that 1, corruption must go. 2, unemployment be the target, and a turnaround plan must be devised and introduced to relieve burden of unemployment to our youth, who is the biggest affected age group. The people of our country need a government that will be tough on crime and criminals and create a crime-free society. The 8th of May is the time that our people should speak loud and clear that the party that has rendered our economy to a state of collapse and is entangled in a state capture which has costed 100 billion must be given a red card. On the 8th of May, the people of KwaZulu-Natal, it is the time to send a message that the people who have rendered the education, health and social services almost dysfunctional must be removed. It is the time now that true gender equality and equal pay for similar job must be implemented, like the case of Bafana Bafana and Banyana Banyana. It is time to vote. It is time to vote for the IFP that has a plan for a growing economy. It is time now that our people are provided with decent housing, targeted people in informal settlement, the missing angle, providing the affordable student accommodation in our institutions. The need for an honest leadership in our government is now. Only the IFP can deliver this. Trust us.
All right, sir, your time is up. Let's move on now to the final speaker on the panel, the EFF's Provincial Chairperson, Busi Khoza.
Thank you. Greetings to the viewers at home and fellow panelists. 25 years of democracy, 25 years since we attained our democracy. Nothing has happened that sought to benefit our people, particularly the black majority. As much as we have attained political freedom, that has never been translated to economic freedom. As we stand right now, South Africa still remains the most unequal society. Number 2, poverty is at the extreme. And lastly, it's unemployment. And the people affected the most are black African people. And we want to say that since we grew up in the struggle, we understood that there would be 2 phases of the struggle. The first one would be political freedom. The second one would be economic freedom. None of that has happened. Instead, the ruling party, the ANC, since it came into power 25 years ago, they aborted and sabotaged the struggle. How did they do that? They got captured, they've got farms, they've got shares in mines, and they aborted economic freedom. We would want to say, as the EFF, we are very clear, we don't make promises, we make concrete commitments. When we said Zuma won't finish his term, he is gone. We said the Guptas are a criminal syndicate and they must leave the country. They are gone. We said that the state is captured. There must be a commission of inquiry. Look at all of them. They are tainted by Bosasa. We said that there will be free education. What do? They go around shooting and killing students at tertiary institutions. Where's the free education?
All right, your time is up. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break this up in half-an-hour slots. So, right now, we're going to speak more to the panelists. We'll get to you in a moment. Just to pick people's brains about their statements they made now. Mr. Zikalala, when you mentioned your delivery of electricity, water, and education, the crowd wasn't 100% with you. They have problems with service delivery in South Africa as the governing party. What are you doing differently to speed up service delivery where it is failing?
As the ANC government in KwaZulu-Natal, we ensure that all spheres of government work together to ensure service delivery. That's why you will see that whilst there are many protests in other areas, but in KwaZulu-Natal, protests are not so high. Secondly, there are areas that have now universal coverage in terms of electricity. Go to Tannhauser. Tannhauser, the whole area has access to electricity. Go to Newcastle. Newcastle as a whole have access to electricity. We have a comprehensive plan for each and every district, especially when it comes to basic services. When I'm talking about service delivery, when we talk about roads, we tar roads even in areas that are deep and very rural, including roads such as the one today. We have roads in Guanongoma. When you go to Guanongoma, roads are tarred. And those roads have been tarred by us as the ANC.
Mr. Zikalala, I guess the discontent from the crowd... No. I know your successes. You've listed it. We know your successes. The discontent from the crowd is when you say what you're doing. But it's taken you 25 years to perhaps get those roads tarred. And that's why people are upset.
Two independent institutions have given credit to government of KwaZulu-Natal. Mail and Guardian is the first. Mail and Guardian went public to say KwaZulu-Natal government is the one that is effective and responding to the needs of the people. That is not us. It is an independent State SA. Go to the report of the State SA and you will see what are they saying about KwaZulu-Natal when it comes to service delivery.
I get your point. We'll move on. And I want to speak to the NFP's Zandile Myeni.
Yes.
You said that your party is the only party to provide clean governance.
Yes. The reason I'm saying that, during the NFP era in Zululand, we managed to get clean audit. Currently in South Africa, one of the cancers which makes us as a country not to move forward is the issue of corruption. So as the NFP, we believe that eradication of corruption is the main thing that must be eradicated, because when you move forward, you may have the clean policies and the good policies, but when you can't implement because of corruption, that is a challenge.
You can say that now because you don't govern in a lot of municipalities. Your party is being seen as falling apart. How do you take that and say we want clean governance when you don't have a strong enough party?
The word falling apart is depend where you stand. The NFP have structures in all of South Africa. As currently that I'm sitting here, we are in the ballot paper. So when you say the NFP is falling apart, I don't know what measure or the instrument
your councillors are crossing over to the DA, to the ANC, and that's the reality of the NFP.
It's not a matter of reality. Yes, I agree that in 2016, we didn't manage to contest the election. But that does not mean that the NFP is dead. The NFP is alive.
All right, let's go to the DA's provincial leader and premier candidate, Vakele Mwako. You also say you have a plan to fight corruption in South Africa. You govern the Midvaal municipality. You failed to fight corruption in your own municipality. Yet you sit here and boast about your plan to fight corruption. You have a cash for jobs scandal that's plaguing your party in that area, in that municipality. How do you sit here so self-righteous and say that you have a plan for corruption?
Look, firstly, let me say, only DA is able to act whenever there is a corrupt politician, whether there is a corrupt official. Only DA. The fact that today you can talk about individuals who are corrupt in DA government is because we take action. We don't reiterate corrupt individuals as the ANC, where someone is corrupt in a municipality, is given a post to government, to provincial government, or deployed to parliament. What we do, we ensure that we remove those who are corrupt. That is why we are saying, when we get to government, we'll ensure that there is a minimum of 15 years sentence for those who are found to be corrupt. As we speak today, we are sitting with the president, current president, who is actually corrupt, is coming out on Zondo Commission, where he's benefiting through his sons, the same operanda that we've seen under Jacob Zuma, where he was benefiting under Gupta's using his son. Same Ramaphosa is benefiting using his son from Busasa. So we are saying only DA is able to clean this government.
All right, let's go to the IFP now. Sir, Mr. Tlavisa, you also say that the IFP wants to fight corruption. Think about Msinga. Think about municipalities where the IFP run municipalities that are apparently, according to Good Governance SA, one of the worst performing municipalities in this country. How do you sit there and say that you're going to fight corruption?
If we go to records, the IFP is the only party in KwaZulu-Natal that has removed more mayors more than any other political party. We did it at Matubatuba, we did it at Nongoma, we did it at Zululand, we did it at Ndumeni. When we feel the leadership is not up to expected standard, we remove that particular person. We are watching closely the performance of our municipalities as we speak right now. We are on record more than any political party that has changed its leadership at a local government level.
Vusi Khoza, I want to raise this with you because it was part of your opening remarks. You talk about the racial divide in South Africa, that racial and economic emancipation has not entirely happened in South Africa. Yet, your leader often talks about racial groups that are going against one another. He went to Chatsworth, for instance, in Durban, said that the Indian community was running KwaZulu-Natal. They had an unfair advantage, that Indians are treating people badly. And I'm not saying that it's not true, I'm not saying that it is true. He has a point probably, according to his sources. But in a democracy where we're trying to unite South Africa, are you fueling racial tensions in this province and in this country?
When the Commander-in-Chief spoke in Chatsworth this Sunday when we were launching our manifesto, he repeated what he said before. A matter that went to the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission has just released its report to say there was no hate speech there. He was stating facts. Who are we then to stand here and say the Human Rights Commission was incorrect? The truth is the truth. He even went further to say, if the shoe fits, then wear it. Why? Because he was very clear to say, not all Indians. He said, most Indians are racist. And I want to repeat it here and now, that yes, most Indians, just like most whites, are racist. The way they treat African black people in factories, in their homes, and everywhere else, they think that they are superior. And the Commander-in-Chief said they need to relook at their mentality in terms of their relation with the African people.
Now, as a political leader, do you not have a responsibility to try to unite South Africa? And we're not saying don't say these things. It's the words used, the powerful words used, that will promote a racial divide in this country. We're going against what Nelson Mandela and so many of our struggle heroes fought for, freedom and unity. So yes, you can talk about it, but should it not be measured going into an election?
the unity that you talk about, it's fake unity. The freedom that you talk about is fake freedom. You can't claim to have freedom as long as the African people, the indigenous people of this country are landless and they are not in the mainstream of the economy. Without land, without economic freedom, what life is that? What freedom is this? What the ANC claimed to have brought freedom, it's not freedom, it's fake freedom that benefited them
Mr.
alone.
Zikalala, I'll let you respond to that. Fake freedom. Do we have fake freedom in South Africa, in a democratic South Africa?
Well, in South Africa, we have freedom. We have freedom in South Africa. People are able to elect government and are able to express themselves. I want to thank the people of KwaZulu-Natal to show that there is freedom in KwaZulu-Natal and in South Africa. Just early this month, the people of Ndumeni, here in Ndumeni, they rejected the IFP-DA alliance and they have voted in favor of the ANC. The ANC is taking over that municipality. It is a municipality in 2016 that was won by the IFP and the DA coalition. It is now back in the ANC. Equally, the people of Umtuba, day by day in each and every ward are saying they want the ANC because these alliances have failed them. And therefore, it is only the ANC that will take our people forward.
So let's talk more about this so-called, and I'm calling it so-called because that's a view of the EFF and not everyone else in this country. Let's talk about this so-called fake freedom in South Africa. And I want to hear from each of you whether you agree or disagree, and if you think there's some truth to it. So let's start with you.
Look, I think it's unfair to say there's a fake freedom. People died for this freedom.
Because you are benefiting.
And we are now in democracy. It's for that reason South Africans will definitely come out on the 8th of May and vote DA because they believe 25 years of democracy, we've seen an unequal society where now we've got those who have and those who doesn't have. Now we are saying we have to ensure that we bring everyone on this economy where currently the current system excludes the majority of South Africans from this economy because it favors the elite. So you need a policy which addresses the challenges we are facing the majority of South Africans, where you are saying, how do you ensure that all South Africans benefit from the state resources? At the moment, only elite, only those connected to the ANC are benefiting from the system. So we are saying it can then be freedom, but we want to ensure everyone benefits from economy.
Okay, I have 2 more minutes, so a minute each, please. Sandile Myeni, what do you have to say to that?
I think it's very important as politicians not to come here and grandstand. The reality must be told. Yes, indeed, in South Africa, we do have freedom. But when you look at this freedom, there is another part that is still the challenge. And that part is economic freedom. Moving forward also, we must acknowledge that when we are here telling people that there is a fake freedom, we are saying that South Africa, even to the international community, we're having a challenge.
All right, I have to leave it right there. Mr. Tlabisa, I'll come to you after the break, but we have to go to a quick break and we'll continue this conversation. To stay with us, this is, of course, a special election town hall debate in KwaZulu-Natal at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. In fact, when we come back, we hear the voices of South Africans. People in our audience will get a chance to ask these politicians behind me those questions that they want answers to. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.